Hi, I'm Megan and welcome to my kitchen. In today's What's for Dinner video, I'll be sharing with you what meals we had this past week. Our dinners were easy to make, budget friendly, and delicious. So if you're looking for some weeknight meal ideas for your family, just keep watching. For dinner this first night, I made Copycat Applebee's crispy orange chicken bowls. I have shared this a couple times before on my channel, but I wanted to share it again because it is a quick and easy dinner and it is one of my favorites. This is something that Applebee's used to serve on their menu. They took it off several years ago. Every once in a while, they'll bring it back, but when they bring it back, it's not the same that they used to be. I found a copycat version and I've been making it for years and it's pretty dang close to what Applebee's was. So first in this skillet, I've got some vegetables that I cooked up. I've just got some sliced mushrooms, sliced red bell pepper, some sugar snap peas, and I cooked it in just a little bit of olive oil. And I'm just using the vegetables that Applebee's used to use. You can of course use whatever vegetables you like, what your family likes, if you've got some odds and ends that you need to use up. And you can also, to make this even quicker, you can just use like a bag of frozen Asian stir-fry vegetables and just pop those in the microwave. And I apologize, I forgot to mention, as you saw there, I also used some broccoli. So now I'm going to make the orange glaze. In this little pot here, I'm going to add in some extra virgin olive oil as well as some minced garlic and just cook that for maybe a minute. Now, I do stray from the recipe just a little bit. The recipe has you like cut up your chicken, batter it, and deep fry it. But one, if you've been with me for a while, you know I hate deep frying stuff. But two, I just find it a lot quicker. I just use frozen chicken, which I'll show you in just a second. So once I've got that garlic cooked, I'm going to add in some hoisin sauce, followed by orange juice, and you can totally squeeze your own orange juice if you want. I'm just using the stuff in the bottle today. Now I've got this pot on medium heat. At this point, I'm going to add in my sugar. You could use a sugar replacement. Now I'm going to add in some orange zest. I didn't have an orange, I had a mandarin, so I'm just going to use that. It'll be fine, close enough. Once I've added that, we are going to add in a little touch of cayenne, not a lot at all. You got quite a bit of sugar in there between the sugar and the hoisin. You can add that to taste, of course. Last but not least, some salt and pepper. I'm going to give that a good whisk, and then you're going to bring this up to a simmer. Now, here's the chicken that I'm going to use. I've got the popcorn chicken. I got this on sale. You can, of course, use the off-brand, or you could use chicken strips and cut those up. You could do this with just grilled chicken if you wanted to, or like I said, you can follow the recipe and cut up and batter and fry your own. So once we've brought that sauce up to a boil, you're going to boil it for 3 minutes and stirring pretty constantly, and you want to keep an eye on this. Trust me, I speak from personal experience. If this boils over on your stove, it is a nightmare to clean. So just keep an eye on it for a couple minutes and it will thicken. Once it starts to thicken, reduce the sauce, and then once it's as thick as you want it to be, it's done. So what I'm going to do at this point is add my cooked popcorn chicken, and again, I just cook this in the air fryer. I'm going to add it to a bowl, drizzle some of that sauce over, and I like to save some of the sauce to drizzle on the finished bowl, and I'm just going to give that a toss. Now I'm ready to assemble the bowls. You can cook up rice however you want. Tonight I'm just going to use some microwavable rice. I'm using this jasmine rice for Gary. For me, I'm going to use the Trader Joe's frozen organic brown rice. So once I've got a bed of rice laid down, I'm then going to add some of the vegetables, followed by the popcorn chicken, and then, like I said, I like to do a little drizzle of extra sauce over top of everything. Now we're going to add on some sliced almonds, and Applebee's used to use those like chow mein noodles, but we don't love those, and I didn't have them on hand anyway, so I just skipped it. But yeah, that's it. This is delicious, and like I said, if you use the popcorn chicken and the little shortcuts I gave you, this is a super, super quick and easy dinner. And I thought about it the other night, and you could actually, I mean, it won't taste exactly like Applebee's, but you could also use like the frozen Trader Joe's mandarin orange chicken or other frozen mandarin orange chicken and just cook that up, and that would be even quicker. The next day was Cinco de Mayo, so I made some carne asada tacos. I'm going to start out by making some Mexican rice in the rice cooker. I didn't really follow a recipe, but I'll find one close to what I did and put it in the description box below for you. So in this measuring cup, I'm going to add some tomato sauce, and then I'm going to add enough water to, make up the difference in the liquid that I need for the rice ratio. Once I've got that added, I'm going to add in some of this tomato bouillon with chicken. And if you don't have this, you can totally just use some chicken bouillon powder, or instead of the water and chicken bouillon powder, just use like chicken broth or chicken stock. I'm going to give that a little stir, and now for the seasonings. I'm going to add in some salt, garlic powder, onion powder, and I'm just doing this by eyeball to taste, and you can use whatever seasonings you like. I'm going to give that another little stir, and now it's time to add in the rice. I've got some long grain rice. I'm going to rinse that under cold water until the water runs clear. One more little stir, and then I'm going to cover this with a lid, plug it in, turn the rice cooker on, and then that's it. When the rice is ready, it'll flip over to warm to keep it nice and warm for me. Now for the other side. A few days ago, I saw Kent Rollins make these easy refried beans on his Instagram. And I knew I was making refried beans this week, and I was like, oh my gosh, those look delicious. Let me give this a try. So in this little cast iron skillet here, I've got some olive oil. I just cooked up some diced onions for maybe 5 minutes until they were tender. Once they're tender, I'm going to add in a can of pinto beans. I did drain those. I'm then going to take a potato masher and just mash those, and just mash them to your preference. If you like them chunky, leave them chunky. If you want them really smooth, just mash them until they're really smooth. Now, I'll of course have Kent's Instagram that I saw linked in the description box below. So I'm going to give that a stir and then season this up with some salt to taste. Next, I'm going to add in some diced green chilies, followed by sour cream. Last but not least, I'm going to add in some taco seasoning. And I didn't measure, I just eyeballed the seasonings. Just do it to your taste. So I'm going to give that a stir and then just cook that for just a couple minutes. You're really just warming everything through. Finally, we're going to add on some shredded cheese. I think Kent used shredded cheddar. I had some Monterey Jack on hand that needed to be used up, so that's what I'm going to do. And he popped this into the oven, but I've got the grill going, so I'm going to put this on the grill. Now, for this steak, I found this already seasoned skirt steak at Kroger. It was on sale this week, probably for Cinco de Mayo, so I'm just going to use that. And then I just grilled the steak according to the package instructions and popped the refried beans on the grill while the steak was cooking. And you just want to cook the refried beans for like maybe 5 minutes or so. You're just really warming it through and melting that cheese on top. Now, I had a couple avocados that were super ripe, getting ready to go bad, so I just whipped up some quick guacamole, just mashed up the avocados with some salt, lime, and cilantro, kept it simple. Now, for our tacos, we're going like more the traditional route, so I've got some diced onions. My husband loves the Valentina hot sauce. And then I've got some chopped cilantro and limes. Now that skirt steak, once it was done off the grill, I did allow it to sit for 10 minutes before I sliced it up. And you do want to make sure that you cut it against the grain. Now, when that rice was done from the rice cooker, I just took a fork and fluffed it up. And then I warmed up the tortillas on the grill. And yeah, here are the finished plates. So we've got the tacos, the rice, the beans, and then I wasn't super hungry, and Gary was pretty hungry, so he ate most of the guacamole and then had some mango peach salsa on the side with tortilla chips. And this dinner was delicious. That rice was so good. That steak from Kroger, like I said, I didn't do anything to it. It was already marinated, and it was delicious. It had great flavor. And then the refried beans. Okay. Gary normally doesn't love refried beans because he says they normally don't have a lot of flavor, and I agree with him. Most of the time refried beans are just kind of like meh, but these were delicious. These were so good. I will definitely make these again, so I recommend you give that recipe a try. It's easy, but it's delicious. But yeah, that was our dinner this night. For dinner the next night, I had a hankering for Papa John's, and I had some Papa Doughs. So we ordered a couple pizzas. We did a large Philly cheesesteak, and we like to add mushrooms to that. And then we did a medium barbecue chicken pizza. So it's got barbecue chicken, bacon, pineapple, and then we got some of their little chicken poppers. And yeah, that was our dinner this night, and we had leftovers for a couple days for lunches. For dinner the next night, I tried a new recipe for a creamy Tuscan shrimp pasta. Check the description box below for the recipe for this, and I have the recipe, by the way. So in this skillet here, I'm going to add in some oil from a container of sun-dried tomatoes. I decided to add just a little extra virgin olive oil plain to that, and I've got this on about medium-high heat. I'm going to get this nice and hot and then sear the shrimp. Now, I was impatient. I did not let this skillet get nearly as hot as what it needed to be, so the shrimp really didn't get a good sear on it, but that's okay. The shrimp got cooked. That's what's important. So once the shrimp were cooked, I removed them to a separate plate, and then to kind of cool the pan down and get the yummy bits off the bottom, I'm going to add in just a little splash of chicken broth. You could also use white wine if you have that on hand. So I'm going to give that a stir and let that cook for just a couple minutes until it reduces, and then I am going to add in my shallots, and at this point I turn my heat down to about medium low. So I'm going to give that a stir and cook the shallots for about 3 to 5 minutes or so until they get nice and tender. And y'all, I'm sorry, I totally forgot to mention, I had seasoned that shrimp up with some salt, pepper, and garlic powder off camera. Now I'm going to add in some sun-dried tomatoes. I just pulled them from the jar, gave them a rough chop. I'm also going to add in some minced garlic. You could, of course, mince up your own. I'm just using the stuff from the jar. I'm going to give that a stir and then cook this for just a couple minutes until the sun-dried tomatoes get tender. At this point, I'm going to add in the heavy cream, followed by some grated Parmesan cheese. Now, you could, of course, grate your own, but I just bought some pre-grated, found it on sale at Kroger, so that's what I'm going to use. I'm sure if all you have is the stuff in the green jar in your pantry, that would be totally fine as well. I've used that, and it turns out just fine. So I'm going to add in the cheese, gave a little extra sprinkle for good measure. I'm going to give that a stir. I did end up stirring it with a whisk, and then you just want to cook this for, I don't know, maybe 3 to 5 minutes or so. Again, this is on like medium-low, medium heat until your sauce gets thickened. And as you can see here, you can take your finger and run it on the back of the spoon, and the sauce stays intact. Now I'm adding in my spinach. I just gave this a rough chop. I'm going to give this a stir and cook this for just a minute or two until that spinach wilts. And then we're ready to add in our pasta. You could use whatever pasta you prefer. I had some thin spaghetti on hand, so I just cooked that up according to the package instructions, drained it. I did reserve some of the pasta water, though, in case, you know, the sauce needed to be loosened up a little bit. So once I've got the pasta in there, I'm going to give it a toss and then add in that cooked shrimp from earlier, give that another stir, and then that's it. The pasta is ready. Now, if you don't like shrimp, no worries at all. You could use chicken breast, or you could just make this a vegetarian meal and leave the protein out altogether. But yeah, this pasta was so creamy, so dreamy, and had such great flavor. This was delicious. We really enjoyed this. Now, I wanted some garlic bread with this. I didn't have any on hand. I did have like a half a box of the Red Lobster Cheddar Bay biscuit mix in my pantry that I've really been needing to use up. So I just cooked those according to the package instructions. So here is my plate. Gary's, you'll see in just a second. It's the exact same thing. We've got the pasta and the biscuits, and I did add just a little tiny bit of the grated Parmesan cheese on top as a little garnish. For dinner the next night, I didn't get a picture, but you've already seen it. We just had some of the leftover pasta and then pizza, and that was our dinner this night. The last dinner of this week's video was off of meal plan, but we had some really bad weather that came through, and we were sheltered in, our safe space for a little while. We had some tornadoes that came through our area, one of which was really pretty bad. And so by the time, that kind of passed and everything, we were just looking for something quick and easy and stress-free for dinner. Tornadoes and my anxiety do not get along very well. And so we just did some chili cheese dogs, just cooked up some hot dogs in the air fryer, topped the buns with the hot dogs, added some chili, added some shredded cheese, popped it in the oven, like 400 degrees for maybe like 8 minutes until the cheese got melted, and then just cooked up some boxed macaroni and cheese. This was the dollar store store brand, I think Clover Valley shells and cheese. Just cooked that up, and yeah, that was our dinner this night. All right, that is it for this week's video. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you liked this video and you got some dinner ideas from it. If you did like it, hit the thumbs up button below and subscribe to my channel if you're not already, and I hope you have a great rest of the day. Bye-bye.